Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we are going to glaze our turtles, and so I'm really excited. You are going to get to use two colors. So you will paint the shell one color, and you will glaze or paint the little head, the feet, and the tail a different color. Okay, so you're going to choose two colors. This is a bisque-fired turtle. That means I've already fired this. It is permanent. It is hard, kind of like a brick, but it is a piece of ceramic material now. And this piece is the same. It's been fired, but I've also added glaze to this. And when you look at the glaze is kind of chalky. It's really not bright or colorful, but after we fire this again, we'll put this in the kiln and fire it. That just means that I put it in the kiln. The kiln is like a big oven. The oven gets as hot as fire, gets super hot. And when it comes out the second time, it will be bright and shiny because the glaze is clay with some little pieces of glass that kind of fuse together. So you may think it doesn't look that cool today, but once it comes out of the kiln, it will look awesome. Now, there's some important things that you need to know about glazing. The first is that you need to add 3 coats of glaze. I'm going to show you a picture, and you can see where someone added 1 coat, 2 coats, and then a 3rd coat. And if you want your clay and your glaze to be bright and shiny in bold, bright colors, you will need to add 3 coats of glaze. This person did a great job of adding their coats of glaze. You can see in this picture where the lightest color is, that's 1 coat of glaze. The middle of the picture shows 2 coats of glaze, and the darkest, deepest color is where the artist added 3 coats of glaze. The second really important thing is that we never put glaze on the bottom, and that is because when it goes in the kiln and it's fired, if there's glaze on the bottom, your clay piece will fuse or stick to the kiln shelf and we'll never be able to get it apart. So these right here, sometimes glaze gets on the bottom. You can see this has a lot of glaze on the bottom. You're going to do your best not to get a lot of glaze on the bottom, but if it happens, we have to scrub the glaze off with a wet towel. So what you're going to do today, you're going to let me know what color you want your shell to be. And once you tell me what color you want your shell to be, I will give you that color glaze. So this color right here that I'm about to use is called sassy orange. And so it's not really going to look like this once it's fired. It's going to be bright and bold, and this actually has some colorful crystals in it. So this one is also sassy orange, and you can see these little bitty kind of flecks of something in here, and that's the crystals that when fired are going to fuse, and it'll be like bursts of color in here. So I'm going to do this for my shell. Now I know turtles don't really have orange shells, but sometimes they have like a brown shell, and I'm just going to dip my paintbrush in the glaze. I don't want to leave my brush in here. I want to wipe the edge, and I'm going to paint, getting more paint when I need it. So once I do this, this is 1 layer or 1 coat of glaze, okay? And how many layers or coats of glaze do I need? That is correct, you need 3. So I'm going to paint the whole shell, making sure I cover everything. If a little bit gets on the feet, that's okay. And sculptures or clay pieces are sculptures, which means they're 3-dimensional, which means I need to pay attention to the side right here too. So I like to hold my turtle up by the leg where I can move it around and get the side of the turtle shell. All right, I'm still just on my 1st coat of glaze. Okay, I have not painted a 2nd layer. You want to let this dry, and it really dries pretty quickly. So if I look, most of this is already dry. So I'm going to let it dry for a minute, and while I let it dry, I might put my paintbrush down on my messy mat. All right, I'm going to speed this up and show you how I add 2 more layers and what it looks like after that. So let me zoom in. You can see this is 1 layer. Okay, I can still see the clay underneath. It doesn't look very thick. That's 1 layer. So I'm finished with my 3 layers of glaze. You can see that it looks much thicker on there now. It's still not dry, but that's okay. It will dry pretty quick. So 3 layers of glaze, and I know that this is going to be bright and shiny. It should look thick, and if you have one with these little crystals, you should see those little crystals around. All right, now, what you're going to do when you are finished with your shell, you are going to carefully and gently pop the lid back on. Don't squish the cup with your whole hand. Just pop it back on. You're going to bring me the cup and bring me your paintbrush. I'm going to swap it out for the color that you want for your legs. So now I'm going to use this one's called Robin's Egg. I just thought it'd be pretty with it, and I'm going to give you a new brush, and you're going to do the exact same thing, painting the legs. Now, I'm going to give you a smaller brush to paint the legs, and we're going to paint the edges. And how many coats of glaze do we need? I hope you said 3. All right, and then if you don't finish your turtle today, I will be getting you at some point this week to finish. Now, I like these messy mats. They're little. You can use them to turn. You want to turn and see what you're doing. We're trying to get the edges, so I'm not just painting these like this. I want to try to get the edges. I'm not trying to get any on the bottom, though, okay? I don't want to put too much glaze on my paintbrush, so I'm just getting a little bit at a time. If it looks like it's going to drip, I'm going to wipe it, okay? So I like how I can just kind of turn this messy mat. All right, and I'm going to turn and get all the legs. And then by the time I get back around to the one I started with, it should be about dry, and it should be ready for the 2nd coat. So it's not 100% dry, but it's dry enough. I'm going to put the 2nd coat on. Remember, it's a sculpture, so I have to get the tops, the sides. I'm not going to get the bottom because we don't want to put glaze on the bottom. But I am trying to get the sides of everything. All right, I'm just turning it as I go. And this is my 2nd coat, so how many more coats of glaze do I need to add? I hope that you said 1 more. This is my 2nd coat. And again, as I go around, I'm adding that 3rd coat now. So this is the one I started on. So now I'm going around and adding that 3rd coat. Actually, I think I started on this one, so you kind of have to keep up. Okay? So I'm going back around, 3rd coat. Remember, it should look thick. If it's not completely dry, it'll be okay. Just add that 3rd coat. All right. Keeping on going around. Now, when you're finished, you're going to bring me your brush. You're going to close your glaze container and bring me your glaze container. And then, so like I'm finished. And then you can also bring me your clay piece like this. So you're going to very carefully hold it in your hand with the messy mat underneath it. Because this glaze is still wet, I don't want to pick up my clay piece because I'm afraid if I pick it up, what will happen is it'll get on my fingers like that and it'll pull the glaze off my clay piece. So I'm going to carry it like this. We're going to probably put these on a cart when we're done, and I will take care of the rest of it.